think about when gold futures were launched. Okay. You had this coming out of World War II. The dollar is the world's reserve currency. They back it with gold because we got to restart global trade. The US has the biggest economy, and you need, again, that's why you had Weimar Germany and all this, all the rest. You lose confidence in your paper currency and you got wheelbarrows full, all that kind of stuff. The only reason I'm going to sell anything to you, Tom, in exchange for your currency is because I have confidence that your currency is going to be worth pretty much the same tomorrow as it is today, right? And that's how you get in this hyperinflation. Well, no, I got to have 10,000 of those today. It was 5,000, and it's just a whole. So coming out of World War II, you get this, you back the dollar with gold, you make it the reserve currency, world global trade recovers, and on and on and on. Well, the problem is global trade and the world recovered, everybody starts getting dollars in their foreign currency reserves. And now some of those countries, France, wherever, said, look, we really don't want these dollars. We'd rather trade in 35 of these babies for your gold. Like you said, we could. And over time, the U.S. stockpile of gold goes from like 25,000 tons to 8,000. And in 1970 or 71, Nixon famously says, we're not going to do that anymore. I mean, we won't have any left if we keep this up for a couple of years. So, but there's still a same physical amount of gold, right? Okay, the problem is going to continue. So they create gold futures in 1975. And that's the first step toward this kind of synthetic, good as gold kind of stuff. We can't actually we can't double the amount of gold in the world, but we can certainly double the amount of stuff that people assume is good as gold or is the same as gold. And that's gold futures. It eventually becomes ETFs. It eventually becomes these unallocated accounts that, the banks run and, and mints run and stuff like that. And so they've diluted and given this perception that there's this vast amount of gold out there when really there's a tiny amount that backs up all these different derivatives and all these phony baloney schemes and all that kind of stuff. So that's, the history of the leverage and all that kind of stuff. But then people still, they're not stupid. I don't want to make it sound like people are just so stupid. People are just uneducated. They just don't know this stuff. I'll give you a great example. I'm at lunch 6 weeks ago with my aunt, who, God bless her soul, just turned 91 and still lives by herself. Sharp as a tack, man. I mean, totally all 100% there. And we started talking about the markets and stuff. And she goes, is it true that the dollar's not backed by anything? And I mean, yes, dear. I mean, yes, that hasn't been since 1971. I thought the dollar was backed by gold. No, it hasn't been since 1971. So when the vast 99% majority doesn't even understand that the dollar's not backed by anything, how can you expect them to understand that the price they see of gold going across the screen is somehow related to the actual price of what it would take in a new market for me to sell you my ounce of gold? And so I think I don't know if this all made sense, but I was trying to construct this in my mind as to how to tie all that together for you. But that's how the system, whether it's the banks or the central banks or whatever, have been able to pass off this futures price as somehow representing the actual price. Mm-hmm. And that's the futures tail wagging the spot dog.